From Portugal to the Northern League of Legends Championship, we got the pleasure to talk with AD carry from Verdant, XDrop or Drop as you prefer. How you doing? Pleasure to see you again.
Yeah, nice to be here. Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
So we need to get to know you, obviously. We could look into the team and all that, but I don't care. I want to talk about you specifically as a player so people can get to know you. How did you join League and how did you start with the name Drop?
Um, well, I'll start with the first question. How I joined. I mean, competitive league and league itself are two different questions. So I'll just start with how I started playing league. It's I started all the way back in season one, when I was only 9 years old. So I've been playing for
Wow.
yeah, for a really long time. Because yeah, I have an older brother. He's 3 years older than me, and when league came out, he just started going to high school.
Hmm.
And him and his friends started playing the game. So, and I was 9 at the time, so I just did whatever my big brother was doing on the computer. I just followed him. So I think we started out playing RuneScape, and then yeah, he picked up League, and I played, and I mostly watched because we had, I think it was like 1.5 hours per day on the computer shared. So he would just play, and I would sit next to him and just watch. Um, and yeah, over the years I just kept on playing. So that's how I started playing League, and then yeah, competitive was a bit of um, I kind of stumbled into it on accident, where
Hmm.
I didn't even know e-rails were a thing, or like back when I started, it was still like the ESLOL or the ESL, I mean, competitions, um, and I just played a random offline tournament with some friends, and there was someone there who had his own org, and he approached me, saying, "Hey, we don't have an A carry right now. Would you be willing to try out?" And yeah, I figured let's just try it. Let's see how it is, and that's how I started, and it stuck with me, so I kept on doing it ever since.
You're one of the OGs. Like I started
Yeah,
on
yeah,
season one
yeah,
as well. So you played at ESL winter season and stuff like that?
yeah, yeah.
Wow, that takes me
I
back.
think I'm not sure. I think I never played spring because I started in summer 2018, and I think it already became like a different competition the year after in spring. But yeah, I played both summer and like a winter competition, I think.
Man, okay, that brought me back into when I played actually League of Legends competitively. So, when you look into League of Legends, do you believe you made enough to pay for therapy? Because if you've been playing since season one, you have the same issues as me. So, how do you feel like the game
um,
evolved through season one until now?
um, I mean, it's a tough question. Like
Yeah.
for me, there's like it's just a lot of nostalgia, the old league.
Hmm.
But also, yeah, I was really young back then, so I didn't really know what was going on. I didn't speak English that well. I didn't understand the game that well. I would just play. So I remember I started out as a full AP L star one trick. Yeah, yeah, that's how I started. And but yeah, like looking back on it, like the for sure the graphics and everything, it's like a completely different game now.
Yeah.
Obviously, still with a lot of similarities as well, but I think the game has become way more well polished. It's a really well rounded game, um, and I feel like there's also not as much broken stuff. I remember a lot of broken stuff back in the day where it's like, oh, you don't really have any counterplay to this, or even if it wasn't broken, just a lot less outplay potential. I
Yeah.
think a lot of just point and click stuff like silences, stuns, all that jazz. Like all of it was in the game back then, point and click. So yeah, I think that's like yeah, a big difference for me looking back on it. I think the game's way more polished. But yeah, I've also gotten way better at the game, so it's easy for me to say as well that there's like a lot more to do now.
But he went through all those phases as an AD carry, and that is a tough role
Um,
to play us. Did he change through
yeah,
the years?
I mean, I used to just play whatever back in the day.
Uh-huh.
I just played champions. I didn't really play a role. So the first time I actually got diamond was in season 5. I was a
Ooh.
two trick. I played Azir and Vayne. So yeah, it's a random combo. And then in between, I've mained like multiple stuff. I've mained jungle. I've mained gangplank mid. I've done a bunch of random stuff. I just did whatever I felt like. Um, and then yeah, once I started maining AD carry, I think it's in season I don't know even know when I really started maining AD carry. I think it's like 2017, something like that. Um,
But when was your
but yeah,
first like real professional experience?
um, yeah. I mean, it was in 2018, like I said. I was playing both at the time. I was playing both student competition. We had like the Dutch College League that I played with friends, and at the same time I also started playing in like another Dutch team
Hmm.
for the Dutch ESL. So yeah, like summer 2018 is my first experience. And yeah, I remember looking back on it, we were losing everything with our ESL team. We were really bad, but it was really fun. Like it was a really fun experience, like starting out and yeah, getting to know what it's like to scrim and all that stuff.
Hmm. How did you get
And
to LPL? How was the jump?
um, I mean, that was it's like when I started playing League more serious. I think it's in
Hmm.
2021, like during Corona times. I had yeah a lot more time on my hands. I started playing like more serious. I started working with the coach as well and really climbing the ranks. And yeah, I just wanted to find a team. I wanted to compete and perform. And EGN at the
Hmm.
time reached out to me if I wanted to do a tryout. Um, and yeah, I really liked the org. I really liked the vibe they had going on. So I decided to play there, and yeah, that I kind of stumbled into the LP LOL. I never really watched it or followed it before. Um, but yeah, looking back on it, it was really fun. It was really fun. I really liked playing there. I really liked EGN as an organization, but also
Hmm.
the Portuguese players. It was really fun. Yeah.
That would be like the professional way of looking into the game, the beginning. But now when you look into your career and the way you want to go forward, you've been playing since season one. What is your aspiration as you're sitting on NLC? You're looking into the future. What is your main goal as a player? Obviously, people are saying like
um,
LEC Worlds, but what makes
yeah.
you thrive?
I mean, to be honest, I don't really have the aspiration to go to Worlds
Okay.
anymore, or like as a player to LEC even. I am still very passionate about the game, but yeah, my short-term goals. I have never actually won like an ERL,
Hmm.
so that's also why I'm playing here now in NLC with Verdant because yeah, I believe in the team and I think we can do really well, even though we're not doing the best right now. But I believe we can do really well. Um, so my short-term goal for sure is to try and win the league and try and win a league in general. Let's say it doesn't we don't manage this split. Looking at spring split would still be my goal. Um, and for long term with league, right now I'm studying on the side as well, and I'm already 24, so I don't really want to delay my studies too much longer. Um, but as I said, I'm very passionate about the game and
Hmm.
also just uh, the more theoretical aspect of it. So I think for me, I've already coached one split in Spring Split. I really enjoyed it. And if I do want to continue doing something in League, I think for me long term, it would be looking at coaching instead of playing.
So tell me specifically. This is a hard question for everybody. What does winning means to you at the end of the
Um,
game when you want to win? What does it mean to you?
um, I mean, it's a bit silly, but it's mainly my own ego that really wants to win. I like feeling like I like getting the feeling that I'm better. um, so yeah, to me it feels really good when I beat out my opponents and I get the gratification of like yes I am actually better. It's not just in my head.
the, the
Um,
Homelander meme. I am better.
yeah, yeah, exactly. No, but it's just the feeling that comes with winning. Um, and I really enjoy the game, as I said. But there are obviously other ways as well to be passionate about something. But specifically the competition aspect for me, it's also. I mean, honestly, it's addicting as well.
It is. It
Like
is.
just getting the it's the whole package. Like the feeling of putting in the work, putting in the hours. Also the struggles that come along with playing in a team and
Mhm.
overcoming them and still coming out on top. Um, yeah, that just feels really good.
So Who are you outside of League? Who's Drop?
Yeah, I mean, my real name is Vincent. I am 24, as I previously said. I'm Dutch. um, in case you haven't noticed from the accent, but um, yeah, outside. I mean, as I mentioned before, I'm studying right now. I'm studying human resource management
Oh.
at the uni here, and um, yeah, who am I outside? It's a bit of a hard question to really answer.
What
I
do you
mean,
like
there's
to
some of
do?
the
Like,
the
what
yeah, there's
translates
some of
to
the
you like?
standard things. I really enjoy hanging out with friends, like with my housemates as well. Like I live with a good friend of mine, so it's really fun. Lots of fun stuff to do. Um, but yeah, a big part of my friend group also plays League, so it all ties into each other. So yeah, it's a bit. There's not too much extra going on outside of that.
For now, okay.
For now, yeah,
But
yeah.
for now, when you look into League of Legends and you look into all the champions that we have a tremendous amount of pool for champions that you could pick. If you could pick one champion that kind of describes who you are, who would it be?
I mean, you asked the same
I
question
know,
in
but just to
the
have that
first
recorded,
interview.
yeah.
But yeah, no, I said back then, I still believe it's like Ezreal.
Hmm.
He's very spontaneous champ, both with his character design, but also gameplay wise. And um, yeah, I like doing new things. I like experiencing new things, being a bit spontaneous as well.
Because that's the thing
Um,
about Ezreal. That's what I wanted to talk about with you. The fact that Ezreal is like not only a spontaneous guy, but is really hard to catch.
mhm.
Do you,
Yeah, true, true.
do you also think and you work like that in real life? Sometimes there are people that are really different to, really difficult to catch. You know, like oh, I have a lot of friends, but
um,
it's not like I showcase myself to everyone.
yeah. I mean, it depends a bit on the definition of the word, I guess. I mean, I do, for the people that I care about and my friends, I do try to spend a lot of time with them.
Hmm.
So, time-wise, yeah, I don't think it's necessarily the case. Um, so yeah, I would say not really the
Okay,
case
okay.
for me. I mean, I guess like yeah, nah, not really, not really. I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it, trying to come with a good answer, but
So tell me
um,
something. When you look into League of Legends, obviously you have to put in a lot of work and a lot of hours, and
mhm,
sometimes you have to sacrifice those hours from hanging out with people. And apparently,
yeah.
you are a people guy, like you like to
Mhm.
hang out. When you look back into what you achieved ever since season one, do you feel like maybe there was someone left behind because you had to work so hard to get where you are?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. There are some friends that either I haven't like been able to keep up the connection with along the
Hmm.
way, or some friends that I don't speak very often. Um, which yeah, it kind of sucks, right? But I think that's something that naturally happens anyway, because it's not just from my side; it's also because they've been busy with stuff, um, and they haven't been able to reach out as much either. But yeah, for sure, there have been friendships that haven't been maybe that I haven't been able to keep up with because of the time I was spending on trying to compete.
It's a rough coin, isn't it? Because you like
Yeah,
to,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Nobody looks into that part of competition because you have to
No,
sacrifice
yeah,
a lot.
yeah. I mean, that's the part that sucks the most. Like knowing that, but it's with everything, right? But
Hmm.
knowing that if you spend time on one thing, you can't spend time on something else, and especially if you're spending as much time as you have to on a competition like League, it's yeah, that is tough. That is tough.
The mountain climbing, yeah. Now, looking into the team, obviously, I don't think the team is sitting where they want it to be. Uh, You have an amazing team, and I was looking into Verdun specifically this week, and I was thinking they're always like one head away from winning, like a thin line. Sometimes it looked like people were not on the same boat, everybody on the same boat. But in specific games, like imagine like in the deciding gameplays, it seemed like not everybody was on the same boat. When you look into the way the league is going and we're about to end the first half of the split, what do you think? was lacking until now, and how can you fix it moving forward to the second half?
Um, I think a big thing in our team. I mean, there's kind of two things. I think, as you've mentioned, we have had games that were very close, and we didn't manage to find the edge over opponents. I think an example of that was the Ruddy game, where, I mean, it didn't start out the best, but I think they gave us a huge opportunity, and we didn't manage to capitalize on it. I think those scenarios, it's mainly the team not being practiced enough on on certain game scenarios where you need 5 players to all do the right thing, and if one player doesn't do the right thing, or if you aren't synced as a team, it can fall apart. I think that's something that's occurring quite often for us, and it can be in big moments, and it can be detrimental to our results, which it has been. And I think the other big thing for us is that we have a tendency to want to do too much in the game. So we want to set up a play topside, we want to contest dragon, we want to ensure we get a recall on mid, we want to find a 2v2 kill bot. It's like all these things, we want to do it all. But realistically, you can't do everything at the same time. And if you spread yourself too thin, you're not going to end up achieving anything. And I think that's also something that has been happening. And I think that's also part of why our games tend to not be the best in the early game, and then we kind of have to try and crawl back mid game, which I think we have been quite good at salvaging some of our bad positions. But yeah, of course, starting out with a deficit, especially if we are the comp that has to get ahead early, it's far from ideal, and I think that's really holding us back. Which is, I think, also something we realized, luckily. So we are working on it. So hopefully we can show it in these next 2 games.
Okay, keep in mind that we're about to finish the first half, so it's like you already met every bot line.
Yeah, yeah.
When you look into the second half of the split, what is that bot line that you really want? Not revenge, but a rematch.
I mean, honestly, I mean, we're gonna match them this week. Phantom Crest from our first week. I feel
Oh.
kind of cheated with the matchup we got. Nah, not really cheated, but I think um, Phantom Crest bot lane, they drafted the Ziggs into Caitlyn, and we didn't really end up having any real interaction in the lane. It was just supports Luke to roam, and I was sitting there getting pushed in, getting poked out, and not being able to really do anything. But they are obviously doing quite well. I mean, ironically, all teams are doing quite well that are at like there's 6, I think, that are tied for first place.
Yeah.
So a lot of them are doing really well. But yeah, I think Phantom Crest especially started out strong. I think it's also a team that a lot of people are looking at, saying, okay, they are one of the better teams. They have quite a strong bot lane. So yeah, I really want to get the rematch there, get to kind of meet head to head, see who actually comes out on top this time, instead of just just having a matchup where it's not really any interaction going on.
The farm fest. Yeah. Man, it was a pleasure to meet you. Like, now on the really good interview, not those three
Yeah,
minutes
yeah,
that we have. Finally, we get to
yeah.
talk a little bit more. Thank you so much for this. Anything you want to say to the folks back at home?
Yeah, I mean, I look forward to turning the split around, and I hope people will be there to watch it. It's gonna be fun, and even if it doesn't manage, even if we don't manage, sorry, to turn around, I think it's still gonna be a fun split. So
It's going to be fun. Thank you so much for this interview. It's a pleasure to talk to you every
yes.
single time. I'll see you soon.